Welcome to the Age Well Home and Lifestyle podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Bradley. I'm the founder of Age Well Home and Lifestyle. This podcast is rooted in one essential truth. To age well and thrive, we must be radically curious. Curious about who we really are, about what truly matters. Curious enough to question everything we've been told so we can finally design a life and home that reflects our truest selves. Here we treat life as our masterpiece. We see ourselves as detectives gathering clues, uncovering our deepest gifts, and consciously curating a lifestyle and home that is both healing and fulfilling. Join me for solo episodes and conversations with guests where I help us get closer to the root of living our best lives in mid-age and beyond. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Age Well Home and Lifestyle podcast. I'm so glad you're here today because we're diving into one of the most important and often most overwhelming topics for homeowners: how to prepare your home for the market. If you've ever thought, where do I even start? This feels like too much. You are not alone. Almost every client I work with has felt this way at the beginning. But here's what I want you to know. Preparing your home doesn't have to be stressful. It doesn't have to feel like a last-minute scramble. With the right systems and a clear timeline, and most importantly, the right guide, this process can actually feel manageable. You might even find parts of it exciting and creative. And that's where I come in. I'm not just a realtor, I'm also a designer, a certified aging in place specialist, and I bring along my life coaching background. I had been a life coach for over a decade, and I weave that into the process. My job is to walk beside you every step of the way, not just to sell your home for the best value, even though that's important, but also to help you feel confident and supported during what can be a major life transition. So today I'm walking you through a comprehensive list. It's not everything, but a comprehensive checklist for preparing your home to sell. We'll cover everything from decluttering to staging to curb appeal to living show ready, living in your home while it's being shown to people who want to see it. By the end of this episode, you'll know not only what to do, but also why it matters and how to move through the process without losing your sanity. So first, start early. That's the most important thing. It is never too early to start. One of the biggest mistakes I see is people waiting until the very last minute to think about preparing their home. And when that happens, they're suddenly packing, decluttering, fixing, staging, and cleaning, all under intense pressure. That's when stress skyrockets and options shrink. So starting early gives you freedom. It gives you more choices. Maybe you have time to paint the dark living room a lighter color, or replace the worn carpets, or do a whole kitchen redesign or renovation. Updates that really matter to buyers. When you start early, you also stress less. Instead of doing it all at once, you can spread the tasks out over weeks and even months. And we plan it together, one thing at a time. And I have all of the right service vendors, quality preferred service vendors that you need for anything in your home. Another reason to start early is clarity. You'll be able to make smarter decisions about what stays, what goes, and what repairs are worth it. Think of it this way. Preparing your home is like training for a marathon. You don't show up on race day without putting in the miles ahead of time. The earlier you start, the more prepared and less panicked you'll feel. And remember, you don't have to figure out this timeline alone. That's exactly where I step in. I'll sit down with you, we map out all the steps, and I give you a clear plan, or we uncover a clear plan together, and we stick to it and modify it along the way. You'll know what to tackle first, what can wait, and what will have the biggest impact. Next, let's talk about mindset and planning. Okay, mindset. This is the foundation. Selling a home isn't just a financial transaction. It's an emotional journey. This is the place where you've created memories, raised kids, maybe started traditions. So it's normal to feel a mix of excitement, sadness, and even overwhelm. And here's the mindset shift I want you to try. You're not just leaving a home, you're moving towards your next chapter. And for each one of my clients, it's a different mindset. But we go over a specific, I call it mantra sometimes, but a specific phrase you might think about or remember during those overwhelming times. So remember again, you're not just leaving a home, you're moving to your next chapter. When you adopt that mindset, everything else gets easier. Decluttering feels less like losing things and more like curating your future. Repairs stop feeling like chores and start feeling like investments in a smoother sale. Staging isn't about erasing your personality, it's about inviting the next family to create their story. This is where I remind my clients, I am not just here for the logistics. I'm here for the emotional ups and downs too. I've walked countless families through this process, and I'll be right beside you to keep you focused on the bigger picture, your next season of life. Now let's dive into one of my favorite topics, decluttering. And I weave in here too, decluttering and depersonalization of the home. So once you got the mindset and you have the plan, the very first physical step is decluttering. Buyers need to see themselves in your home. If they walk in and see overflowing closets or walls covered in personal photos, it can be harder for them to imagine living there. So I recommend the 4-pile method. And again, for each personality, each person I work with, it's a little bit different. But I often recommend the 4-pile method. A keep pile, a donate, a sell, and a toss pile. So again, keep, donate, sell, and toss. And you go room by room. Be ruthless with surfaces, closets, and shelves. And here's the bonus. Decluttering helps you too. You'll be amazed at how much lighter you feel. You're not just preparing your home, you're preparing your heart and mind for the move. You're moving into your next chapter, which means a new lifestyle, which means you don't need the same stuff. So decluttering is not only for your home, but it's for your lifestyle too. And it just makes you feel so fresh. It's making space. Okay, next thing to think about when you're putting your home on the market is the deep cleaning. And this is huge. We do a deep cleaning in the beginning, and we do another deep cleaning right before you leave the house. But first, the deep cleaning to prepare. So once the clutter is cleared, it's time to clean. And I mean a super duper deep dive clean. And I have the resources for you. I have all of my preferred service vendors. I'm always vetting because it changes. But I always have people for you for cleaning, for windows, for carpets, for baseboards, for vents, for all of the things. Buyers equate clean with well-maintained. A spotless home whispers, this house has been cared for. If you can, you hire professionals. It's one of the best investments you can make at this stage. And like I said, I have a whole preferred service vendor list that I'm always vetting. I'm always having conversations with new people. I almost always only recommend people who I've used. But I have all of those people for you. And I'll give you multiple people to choose from. But if you have your favorites, you can use your own people too. The next thing to think about are the repairs and the refreshes. So now you need to tackle the little fixes, and it can be little fixes or big fixes. But little fixes such as patching the nail holes, tightening up doorknobs, replacing light bulbs, touching up the paint. The small details build trust. If buyers see little things handled, they'll assume the big things have been handled well too. So think about these little repairs and fixes, but also, and again, we'll plan way in advance if we have big things we need to repair. Do we need to think about the roof, the HVAC system, redesigning? We will plan out all of those things. And it's different per person, per house. Next, let's talk about curb appeal. First impressions matter. You tidy up the yard, and I have a wonderful landscaper if you need a good landscape person. But again, tidy up the yard, trim the hedges, mulch the beds, either yourself if you enjoy doing it, or again, you can hire a professional. A fresh coat of paint on the front door and a new welcome mat can completely transform the feel of your entryway. Remember, your exterior is like your handshake to buyers. It should feel warm, confident, and inviting. And pots of flowers, hanging baskets, making it look fresh and inviting. It's the feeling, it's the subconscious feeling people get when they're just approaching your home. And staging is an art and science, and I will have other experts talking about every little thing that I'm talking about in this one episode. We're going to have experts on the podcast talking about these in more depth. But staging is an art and a science, okay? This is a very powerful tool that works when it comes to selling your home. So it's staging, like I said, it's both an art and a science. The art is about the emotion. It's about how the home feels, creating that wow moment when a buyer walks in. The science is about the strategy, the furniture placement, the lighting, the color choices, the art, all grounded in research about how people perceive space and value. So you can try to do it on your own, but I absolutely recommend hiring professionals when it comes to staging. Okay, and here's the truth. Staged homes sell faster and for more money. You don't have to figure this out on your own. Yes, I have a design background, but I believe in hiring professional stagers. Design is different than staging. So we will connect you, if you want, with professional stagers who can come in and they choose how to make your home feel optimal for the potential buyers. Okay, I'll guide you every step of the way, and the staging team that you hire will guide you. Next, let's talk about photography and marketing. Once your home looks its best, we need to capture it with professional photos and video. This is your 24/7 open house online. And especially today with social media, with ads, we can get your house out to hundreds and thousands of people. I, as your realtor, I pay for your photography and I get your marketing created. Okay, after we have the house looking perfect, we get the photos taken, we get the videos taken, and I'm there. I schedule with the photographer and videographer. I oversee all of that. I get your marketing materials created. I have assistants and a team that helps me with that. I make sure you approve of everything. We put the photos and video on the RMLS. It goes into postcards that get sent out to the neighborhood. It goes online, again, social media ads, social media posts, videos, all the things. Okay, and I will guide you every step of the way of what photos to use out of all the options. I gotcha. I gotcha with the marketing and photography. And again, that is fun. It's fun and creative to say, okay, this is my home looking the best. Can you, a potential buyer, imagine yourself living here? We get all the marketing done, we get all the photos done, the world starts to see it, and we start to have open houses. Living show ready. So if you're living in your home while it's being shown, while we're having open houses, and what I like to do is the first weekend that we go live with your home, we have an open house both Saturday and Sunday, and I also do a broker's open, which are typically here in the Westland area on a Tuesday. So sometimes I do a broker's open the Tuesday before, and then we do an open house Saturday and Sunday, or open house Saturday and Sunday, and then a broker's open on Tuesday. But if you're living in your home while it's being shown, it can get a little inconvenient. Okay, but once your home is on the market, it needs to stay show ready. Now let's talk about living show ready. So once your home is all ready in regards to looking its best, we have the marketing done, it's out in the world, then we're ready to do either a weekend of open houses or we're going to do a broker's open, and often do both. So locally, brokers opens are on Tuesday. So I'll often do a broker's open on a Tuesday and then have an open house Saturday and Sunday. And if everything works out well, we get multiple offers, or at least a offer, and you don't have to show your home again. But if you end up having to live in your home while we're showing it, it can get a little inconvenient. But I'll give you some systems and processes so that you can live through it with as much ease as possible. And one of them is just having a showing box so that you can stash away all your last minute clutter and just push it away into a closet. So whether we set your open house, your showings to be 1 hour notice, 2 hours notice, 24 hours notice, you don't have to stress. Okay, and then we'll do another podcast and all the details of offers coming in, looking at those offers, assessing the offers. But we won't go into detail on all of that in this podcast, or else it would be 10 hours long. Okay, so a few bonus touches. Throughout the whole process, details matter. Every little thing we choose to do, there's a reason behind it. So we add little touches and more details. We think about somebody moving into the neighborhood who has not lived here before. We give them a binder of resources. And again, you can have fun creating this if you desire. Fresh flowers out. You may decide to add smart home features, things that are bigger. Go into more depth in regards to new landscaping. Again, every person, every transition is different. And we will talk about all of that in the beginning, okay? So let's recap. Start early, give yourself plenty of time. With more time, you have more options and more peace of mind. And you can have more fun along the way. You can get more creative with each part of the journey. Adopt a healthy mindset around moving, okay? This is about moving forward. It's not about looking back. You can reflect on everything that has happened in your life. In the present moment, realize you're making space. You're making choices for the future you, your future chapter, and feel good about that. Throughout the process, we're decluttering, we're cleaning, we're repairing, we're refreshing. And like I said before, we do a deep dive clean in the beginning, but also before handing the keys off, after everything is moved out, we do another cleaning so that we hand over the house to the new buyers fresh and clean. Remember, staging is both an art and a science, and it makes a difference. We hire the professionals to come in and stage your home. And throughout it all, know that you are not alone. I'll be right there to guide you every step of the way. If you're even thinking about selling, whether it's this fall, next spring, or 2 years from now, let's start the conversation early. It is never too early. Text me, call me, email me, whatever works for you. Let's just connect and start the conversation. I'll help you map out a plan so when the time comes, you feel ready and confident. Selling your home is more than a transaction. It's a transition. And with the right guidance, it can be smoother, more strategic, and even joyful. So thank you for joining me today. Until next time, I'm Kelly Bradley with Age Well Home and Lifestyle, and I'm a realtor with Robbins Realty Group here in Westland, Oregon. And I can help you right size, reimagine, and design a lifestyle you love. I look forward to talking with you. Thanks for tuning in to the Age Well Home and Lifestyle podcast. If this episode sparks something in you, share it with a friend or family member. Let it be the start of a real-life, meaningful conversation, because that's how we grow together. And I'd love to hear from you. What topics are you curious about? What questions are on your mind? Reach out and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay curious, live true, and keep creating a life and home that's aligned with your truest self.